Hey, what is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the My Stock Journey channel. So today we're going over something that I haven't really seen too often on this platform. You know, it's kind of like a concept that I just randomly popped in my head. I was laying in bed and I was like, what if someone held me at gunpoint and told me to sell every stock but two? Like, which ones would I keep? And I don't know why. Y'all ever just sit there, like, especially right before you go to bed, and you have the weirdest thoughts ever, like, just random stuff? But yeah, so that popped up, and I was like, I actually want to make a video about this. I'm like, if I can only own two stocks, which ones would I be? So I hope you guys do like this type of video. I know it's kind of more hypothetical, and it's not like an analysis, or it's not anything like that. And if you do like this type of video, definitely let me know in the comment section. I can keep coming up with random stuff, because trust me, I can come up with some random stuff. And yeah, also drop a like on this video. Helps me reach new audiences, and it kind of just helps give me an understanding on what you guys would prefer to see. And that definitely helps me out a lot whenever it just comes to, you know, making this content and understanding how to grow the most. Also, if you are new to the channel and this is the first video that you've watched of mine, or maybe you've seen my videos a couple times and haven't hit that subscribe yet, that would be awesome if you could. If not, it's totally okay. I understand. And yeah, let's get into the video. So my first pick is actually gonna be one that may surprise people a little bit, but it's actually gonna be Store Capital. So Store Capital is one that kind of, I feel like, gets lost in the mix a little bit. You know, everyone's kind of more like realty income and everything. But whenever I look at the two, yeah, I feel like realty income might be established a little bit more. But whenever you really break it down and you notice, like, Store Capital has a lower payout ratio, higher dividends, you know, it's grown more in recent years than realty income has. And I feel like whenever you take those things in consideration, I trust Store Capital's dividend a little bit more. You know, there are the doubts because its management team did actually has built up REITs before and then sold them. And if it was to do that with Store Capital, that could obviously be an issue, right? But the thing about it is, I feel like Store Capital has been so much more profitable and it's done so much better than some of the other ones that its management team has produced that I think they probably hold on to it. That's just what I feel like. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I guess we'll find out in the future, of course. But yeah, so that's definitely one reason why I look at realty income and I look at Store Capital, because I just feel like Store Capital is just a little bit of the better way to go, just for me personally, when it comes to what I like to invest in and what my gut says. So that's one reason. Another reason is Store Capital's dividend. Now, you all know, like, and everyone knows, we've heard it a million times, don't just buy dividend stocks because it has a high yield, of course. I feel like that's kind of a given. You know, if a company's paying out 145% of its profits in dividends, but it's paying a 30% dividend, that doesn't mean buy it. You know what I mean? That's probably not a good idea, right? But the thing about it is, if I can only own two stocks, I would definitely want a dividend paying stock to be one, at least. Because say if something like this happens again, well, maybe I'll lose my job and I'm stuck in the house, you know? If I have a company that's paying me dividends, that gives me some type of income throughout the whole thing. Because yeah, the price of it might go down and maybe I can't sell it because the price is so low and I feel stuck, but I'm getting that dividend, and the dividend payment is giving me some type of security, some type of financial backing throughout a harder time in life. So that's definitely a big reason in which I would choose something like Store Capital, whose dividend payment's like 7.34%, something like that. So the dividend yield is definitely nice. It has a pretty, compared to its peers, it has a relatively low payout ratio, which isn't bad. A lot of its holdings in its portfolio are such like health clubs, furniture stores, restaurants, movie theaters, and those are things that maybe movie theaters a little less, but I feel like restaurants, furniture stores, health clubs, those are things that I feel like are going to continue to be important to modern day society for at least the majority of my life. You know, maybe in the future electronics and AI and all this stuff will take over, but I don't really think I'll be even in the market at that point. And so I think that the holding in its portfolio definitely represent important areas of society, and that's why I do think they will continue to do well during the rest of my, you know, time in the stock market and everything like that. And then if you just honestly look at its potential growth from this point forward, one, and secondly, from what it's done over recent years. In recent years, it's outperformed the S&P by a lot, like a landslide. In comparison to from the last couple of years to now, the S&P has done like 80% or so, whereas Store Capital has done about 150%. And I do think it will continue to beat the stock market. That's just my opinion, because I think it's gaining some traction. And even though if this happened, it might slow down for a year or two. But as it hit these lows, there's more investors, but I do think as we come out of this pandemic that even more businesses are going to start to pop up over time. And, you know, that's just my gut feeling, and that's just how I feel. I feel like our economy and our society as a whole, especially once there's a vaccine, is going to come out of this better than we went in a few years from now. I could be wrong. That's just honestly how I feel. But I definitely feel like Store Capital is going to be one of the ones that if I can only buy two, it would definitely be one of them. So what is the next one? And I think most of you guys, if you know me, if you've been subscribed for a little while, you can probably guess what I would buy next. Maybe, maybe not. I'll give you a second. Maybe try to drop it in the comment section before I say it. Okay. Obviously, it's Microsoft. So I don't think that's a shock to anyone. Everyone knows how much I love Microsoft. I have like 3 videos on this channel about Microsoft alone. It's just genuinely a stock that I love, right? I just feel like when you look at at a example of what a company should do, and of course it's made its mistakes, and of course it's had its errors and its faults and its things like that, of course. But whenever you look at overall what a company should do and produce and how it does it and how its management team runs and how it's just overall created and made and run, I think that Microsoft serves as almost a perfect example, like a really good leader in the business industry on what a company should do. You know, the way that it prepares for bad situations like this. I mean, Microsoft was sitting on $67 billion in cash. And so that's why when you look at something like this, it's really not a big deal. It has all the cash, its payout ratio on dividends is low. It's not worried about that too much. And so it was so well prepared even for a situation like this. And it created products that no matter really what is going on to humans, people can benefit from its products. So whenever you look at a situation in which the world comes to a stop, Microsoft it dropped like everything else did, but look at the rate of recovery. It's absolutely insane. But the thing about it is, not only how consistent Microsoft is, I think it'll continue that consistency, even ramp up a little from where we were last year, because it's creating these new products and doing all these things that are adaptations to its previous products. You know what I mean? And as society changes and our economy changes and we have stuff like this, Microsoft's ability to adapt and overcome almost any situation thrown at it causes it to genuinely be a lead by example type of company on how companies should base themselves and how they should manage themselves. And so honestly, Microsoft is just genuinely a stock that I couldn't imagine having in my portfolio without having Microsoft. No matter what price Microsoft is at, I do think it's going to continue to go up even my entire time in the stock market, next 10, 15, 20 years. I think it'll continue to do that. I think it'll continue to be one of the forefront like runners for its industry. And honestly, I think it's a given. You know, Microsoft necessarily might not have the highest dividend yield. I think it's like 1.19%. Don't quote me on that. But the thing about it is I had Store Capital, like I said previously, who's 7% dividend yield. So that does kind of cover me a little bit whenever it comes to making sure I am getting those returns. But at the same time, I just feel like Microsoft is going to keep performing so well. I mean, it's just so, like, it baffles me that in something so bad, Microsoft rebounded and then it's starting to pick up higher, almost reaching higher highs. I'm not sure if it has yet. Than it did before all this started within months. That's insane. And so absolutely 100% without a doubt in my mind, Microsoft would have to be one of those two stocks that I would own if I could only own two stocks. So once again, if you guys did like this type of video, I know it's a little bit more short than my usual videos and it's a little different, but it's very fun for me to make these type of videos where I'm just kind of getting hypothetical and thinking outside of the box on what I would do in certain situations. If y'all guys do like hearing that and like kind of, you know, maybe you think, what are the two stocks you would own? Drop that in the comment section. What are two stocks that you would own and why? And I'll go down there and it'll be nice and cool to be able to hear you guys' opinions on, I don't know, I would own Amazon, or I would own Tesla, or I would own VTIQ for some odd reason. You know what I mean? You never know. And so I definitely would like to know what you guys would own if you could only own two stocks in the stock market for the rest of your life. I will have another video, guys, coming for you guys tomorrow. I'm trying to post as often as I possibly can. I like 3 or 4 posts a week just because it's honestly just really fun. You know, I'm not going to say I'm not trying to get 10 million subscribers on day. Of course, I'd love to just build up that subscriber, and you know, consistency equals more subscribers. But it's so much less that and more the fact that I literally look forward to being able to film videos and edit them and talk about the stock market. And not a lot of people in my life understand the stock market. So whenever I can come on here and just talk to people who know more than me, it's awesome. I love it. And so with that being said, I'm going to continue to try to post as often as I possibly can. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.